Hey guys, and welcome to Collider Movie Talk for movie fans. I'm your host, Ashley Mova, and this is the daily show where we give you all of the latest news from the world of movies, plus some insight into what it all means. Joining us as always is Jon Campea.
Well, greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to the best damn movie-related show on planet Earth, coming to you from right here at the Collider Video headquarters here in Burbank, California, and we are so glad you decided to make us part of your day.
Also here, Jon Schnepp.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Totally recovered from crying like 100 times watching
Did
some
you pee in
trailer
your
that
pants?
was on. Whatever. I don't know if I cried.
At least
whatever.
you didn't pee in your pants, though.
I didn't pee in my pants or poo in my pants or have any bodily liquids come out of me.
Also here, Hal Rudnick.
Damn glad to be here. Thanks for having me. And I am in, I guess, a post-coital nerdgasm state. Yeah.
Yes, something along those lines. I'm really glad you're joining us today. It's really a pleasure having you here.
Absolute pleasure. Thank you.
Last night during Monday Night Football on ESPN, Disney and Lucasfilm dropped the third and final trailer for the upcoming Star Wars The Force Awakens. In the trailer, we got our best look yet at Han, Leia, Kylo Ren, Rey, and Finn, and many others. Star Wars The Force Awakens officially opens on December 18th. Jon, your thoughts on the new and final trailer for Star Wars The Force Awakens?
Okay, well, first of all, I mean, obviously for a lot of you who follow us, you know, we did a live reaction last night and we did a special episode of Jedi Council where myself, Christian Harloff, and Mark Ellis broke down the new trailer for 47 minutes. So if you want to check out a really full and in-depth analysis of it, go check out that episode that we put up last night. Gotta tell you, I love the trailer. I was not disappointed in the least. Were there some big bang moments I was kind of hoping for? Yes, I was hoping for a Luke appearance. But like we said on the show yesterday, totally understand that they're not doing that. They're holding Luke back. That's why they didn't put him on the poster. That's why we didn't see him in the trailer. So I think that's totally fine. I'm fine with that. I loved the music in it. I love the way they introduced us to the characters. They had the right amount of Han, the right amount of Chewie, the right amount of the new characters. I love seeing Leia in that shot as well. I adored this trailer, super happy with it. And like, I still think, we were talking beforehand, and I said I still think that the Batman v Superman trailer is still the best trailer of the year. I have no doubt that Star Wars Phantom Menace will be the better movie, no doubt. But you have to understand
Not
that...
Phantom Menace.
Force Awakens.
Force
Did I
Awakens.
say Phantom Menace?
You did.
Oh my God!
And you should kill yourself for saying that.
I'm embarrassed. Okay, so anyway, yeah, no doubt that's going to be the best film of the year. But one of the things I said last night was that Star Wars didn't need to show you all the big shots. Star Wars didn't need to show you the big finale. They didn't need to show you the Star Killer. They didn't need to show you Luke Skywalker. Whereas a Batman v Superman has to show you a lot of the big money shots. And that's what they did. And that's cool, and it works great. But for a Star Wars, I thought it was the best trailer of the bunch. There was no one moment as cool as the Chewie we're home moment like there was in the second trailer. But I think overall, start to finish, I thought it was the best trailer of the bunch. I'm super happy with it. Schnepp, what do you think about it?
I loved it. I mean, we were talking about this a few minutes ago, like how the second trailer had that Chewie we're home moment that made a lot of people cry and get really emotional because it had that, oh my God, there's Han Solo and Chewie. Finally, after like 35 years, it's insane to see those characters again. You never thought you'd see those characters again. And in this new trailer, we're introduced to the new group of Star Wars characters, and we're introduced to what has happened. And then you're seeing that Han Solo character again, but now he's saying, everything is true. The Jedi, the dark side, this is all real. So you're in this zone where you're like, wow, a lot of stuff has happened since Return of the Jedi that we don't know about. Obviously, there's Empire is still around, you know, the Rebels, which is now the Resistance. So there's all this new mythology that we're going to be introduced to. It's very exciting to me. I mean, I love the way they put the trailer together. I mean, I've watched it about like 8 times. I watched it 5 times just this morning.
He did. He was literally sitting watching the trailer again.
No, because
this morning.
I didn't get to do the talk afterwards. I had to go see Terry Gilliam talk live, guys. Whatever. So yeah. Today I was like, man, I really want to watch it and just kind of soak in it for a little bit. It's a fantastic trailer. I can't compare it to Batman v Superman. We were saying, like, I think it's in a totally different ballpark. You have superhero films and action films, and then you have sci-fi fantasy, and that Star Wars is the leader of the pack. You know, along with Star Trek as like the thing that fans just love and eat up, and that's what this is kind of what we've been wanting. So I'm very happy with it.
Did you notice that you mentioned that one scene where Han is saying the lines like the Sith, the dark side, the Jedi?
It's all true.
It looks like it's in that same compartment in the Millennium Falcon, where just 35 or 40 years earlier, Han was saying, look, I've been from one end of this galaxy to the other. I ain't ever seen anything to make me leave in one all-powerful force controlling everything.
That's right.
And now it's like, dark side, Jedi, it's all real. So it's funny how far that's come. Anyway, Hal, you had a chance to watch a trailer last night. Your thoughts on it?
Absolutely. I watched it even more than John because I watched it about 50 times in my dreams. And I'm absolutely super stoked on it. One thing I love, and you talked about that moment where Chewie, we're home. That was like saying to us in the previous trailer that we're back to the tone and the feeling we love.
Yeah,
and this doubled down on that because it's like, okay, this is not going to be simply a 3-hour toy commercial for kids. Right. You know, it had a mature theme. It felt like, we are getting serious space action and we're going to explore some dark stuff here. And I love that. Also, to piggyback on it's not going to be a kids movie, there was no Disney logo.
Right.
You know, it was just Lucasfilm. Yeah. So it's like, okay, this is straight up Star Wars. Guess who's back? It gave me everything I wanted. You know, I was so satisfying. The
one thing I was worried about, I facetiously put up on Twitter and Facebook yesterday, said the 2 words that could totally kill this trailer tonight: Misa back. That would be it. And I was there's a part of me that was a little bit worried that in this trailer, you're talking about, you nailed it. There's a mature theme to this thing. It feels, this is an adult film.
Yeah.
And it felt like, and I was a little bit worried that, oh gosh, are we going to see one of these scenes where something startles BB-8 and a bunch of oil leaks out of him when he gets startled and blah. And
Misa poopy.
And they didn't do that.
You know what? You know what I like in this too? This is going to be a stretch, but follow me on this. So, you know in a movie like in Scarface or something where they cut open a big package of cocaine and they take like a knife and it's like...
So Thursday night is what you're talking about.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. And they're like, it's pure. It's good. You know what? This was like, this is the stuff.
Yes.
You know, I watched it. I'm like, this is the tone I want. This is the Star Wars that I want to see.
And right after the trailer, you're like, doing that shit.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
no. Then I went on a bender.
Yeah. And then we're like tweaking out. It's like, hey, can we watch it again?
Yeah, it's available for free on YouTube.
You know, my favorite shot of the trailer, surprisingly, wasn't Han, wasn't even Leia putting her head on Han's chest, which I thought was awesome.
Yeah.
And it didn't really give away anything. I think it looks like 2 people reuniting after a long time. Just saying. But my favorite shot, and I had to pause and rewind this about 20 times last night, was an X-Wing fighter barreling down and picking off a stormtrooper from the air. That shot to me just blew my mind.
It's pretty exciting.
And I thought, if this is at all indicative of the type of action, of the type of energy, of the type of this frantic pace, and I love that the action scenes had a sense of chaos. And there's that one shot where all the TIE fighters are coming this way, the X-Wings, and they mesh. And it reminds me, so reminiscent of that shot in Return of the Jedi in the space battle outside of the second Death Star. And I'm just like, we are home.
Yeah, those lasers flying around, like those battles were beautiful chaos, and that's what we were looking at.
On purpose, they did that shot that's like from when the Millennium Falcon kind of banks towards the camera and comes back. That's from the Empire Strikes Back in the asteroid field, where they had that scene right as Han is saying, it's all real, it's all true, and then they show the Millennium Falcon being chased by those TIE fighters. And that gave me the chills, where I was like, oh my God, it feels so good to see like the light, them going into hyperspace. And then they cut away to inside of hyperspace, because as a kid I always remembered like, oh wow, that's the Millennium Falcon inside of hyperspace. And then they show it now, but even with more improved graphics. So little moments like that. For me, I think one of my favorite moments from the trailer is not only just the Han talking about it's all true moment, but the introduction to Kylo Ren and his mission. So not only is he like just his voice and the way they've slightly modulated Adam Driver, but yet you can still hear the emotion in everything that he's saying. It just brings something from all of the trilogies, Anakin and as Darth Vader, and then now this is the whatever the mission is that Kylo Ren is on. I'm interested to see what it is.
I got really excited about just that moment of Boyega and Kylo with the lightsabers. That looked like it was about to be a boss battle. And one of the only redeeming things from the prequels were some of the lightsaber battles. Like there was some really, like Darth Maul in a lightsaber battle. So I got excited that we're going to see of course we're going to see some lightsaber action, but that looked pretty cool.
But that scene, I think the money shot, I mean, other than my favorite shot of the X-Wing picking off the stormtrooper, Kylo Ren holding up the helmet, saying, "I will finish what you started."
Yeah.
And a part of me is like, what? What now? I was talking to Christian last night, and Christian says, well, it's hunting down and exterminating the Jedi. But I wonder if it's something more than that. Does it go back even further? Because remember, what ultimately turned Anakin to the dark side was he wanted to pursue what Sidious was told him about, was that there is a secret in the dark side to cheating death and achieving immortality. So or was it even more surreal than that? Was it Vader started his own path of redemption in killing the Emperor? Is this kind of Kylo thinking in his own twisted, warped way that I'm going to bring peace to the galaxy by conquering it or something? Like, I am dying to know. Or was it as simple as, I'm going to exterminate the Jedi, finish what you started? What do you think he meant by, I'm going to finish what you started?
Well, it's always been a classic good versus evil. And it seems, I don't know, Vader, yes, he did kill the Emperor at the end, but I don't know. That seems too complicated. I think it's more of I think it's a little more black and white. I think
I'm going to hunt down and finish off the Jedi.
I'm going to raise the flag of the Empire once again and hunt the Jedi.
Or maybe not even the Empire. Remember, like, I think Vader just worked with the Empire.
Right.
But he was always outside. Even in the first Star Wars, it was remember, they were always like, you're weird, archaic, religion, Vader. That's, after the prequels. So it's sort of like what Vader was part of this order, just like all the Jedis are gone, and yet Vader's still part of this weird. They still refer to him as like Jedi, Sith, whatever. It's all the same hocus pocus weirdo stuff. And then he starts force choking people. They're like, he does have that power. I wouldn't say that about it.
I wouldn't be talking smack about
let's
Vader.
make fun of him when he's outside of the room, kind of thing. So I think there's something.
It could mean a lot of things. Maybe he means killing Luke.
It could be.
Maybe.
I think it's like it's definitely the dark side. The Knights of Ren are definitely like artifact, searchers or something. But I think they're just trying to bring back not the Empire, but the dark side and take over.
Let me ask you, Ashley, as the one person maybe in this country last night who saw the trailer that wasn't sweating, wondering when they're going to kiss their first date, as like the rest of us. What were your impressions of the trailer when you watched it?
I liked it. I thought it was really, really fun. Piggybacking off of your statements, I loved the chaos of the shots and the energy. I mean, needless to say, I wasn't doing any cocaine or peeing and pooping in my pants, but you can tell that this movie is going to be like jam-packed with energy and kind of just give you that adrenaline. The highlight for me, kind of through all the trailers, has been BB-8. Like, just so freaking cute. Like, every time he comes on the screen, I'm just like, oh, BB-8! So yeah, I'm excited to see them.
You're not the only one, because I've seen many people, like, whenever BB-8 shows up, they light
So
up. Men, women, children.
cute.
They struck on something here with BB-8 that's really special. All right, what's next?
Along with Disney debuting the newest trailer for Star Wars, the studio also put the pre-order ticket sales online as well. The results were not so glorious. According to CNN, AMC Theaters, Fandango, MovieTickets.com, and other major movie ticket sales sites all either crashed or were slowed down due to a virtual crawl throughout the night due to overwhelming traffic. It's also expected that ratings for last night's NFL Monday Night Football were the highest of the year so far. Schnepp, with the website crashes and ratings on TV, have your box office expectations shifted at all for Star Wars: The Force Awakens?
No, I mean, I think we've been talking about. I feel it's going to make $200-300 million. Like, it's going to blow away all the expectations.
You're talking about opening weekend
for the Christmas holiday. Everyone's like, nothing ever breaks 90 million. I think this is going to definitely break 100 million. I think it's going to break 200 million, maybe not 3, but I think it's going to be massive and giant. I was kind of lucky that I just showed up here and Dennis and Wendy were getting the tickets online. I didn't realize what insane cluster.
Thank you,
effort.
Wendy, who got my tickets.
Thank you, Dennis, who got my tickets.
Dennis and Wendy both who got my tickets.
I was just like,
I am currently ticketless.
Well, hey, Hal, let's talk afterwards. We might be able to work something
We'll
out.
get you hooked up. We know some
We got a
people.
couple of
I could trade
peoples.
you some of that cocaine I have in the trunk of my car.
You and me and Scarface are going to have a little talk. So, yeah, I didn't know it was going to crash every single known server and internet.
BB-8 broke the internet.
broke the
BB-8
internet.
is the new Kim Kardashian's ass.
Don't BB-8 me. Yeah, you just, that means
Yeah.
explosion and death. I don't know what it means. Or shut down and sleep for 4 hours. No availability.
A buddy of ours from Disney actually tweeted me this picture. It's a picture of, like, he had 5 browser windows open, like Fandango, movie tickets, AMC, Regal, all these places trying to buy tickets, and all of them said service not available. All of them were it was crazy.
So expectations for the box office, over the roof, out the
Coming
door.
into this year, it was like, you guys probably remember this. It was going to be, is Age of Ultron going to beat Star Wars or vice versa?
Right. Yeah.
Now, I think it's like, is Star Wars going to beat Titanic and Avatar? Is Star Wars going to be the highest grossing film of all time?
It's tight. Like I've said for a long time, look, there's a reason why the record for opening weekend in December isn't anywhere near $100 million. Like $78 million. I think it was one of the Hobbit films. 78 million, and that's December. So I thought, well, this Star Wars will easily break the current existing December record. I mean, there's a lot going on in December, Christmas, families, vacations, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But I always said it will not catch an opening weekend. It might beat overall, depending how good it is, but I thought it will not catch Jurassic World. That $210 million opening, or I think they might have adjusted it to 202. Regardless, it's a lot of money. However, that being said, I may have to eat those words and readjust what I'm thinking, because just before I came, not only are sites crashing of buying tickets, not only is Monday Night Football reporting a record number for the year so far in views, because all these sweaty nerds who don't even know what a football is, watching a football game for the first time.
Let me just chime in here for a second.
You looked so uncomfortable with football on yesterday.
Uncomfortable doesn't even begin to cover it. Irritated, angry. Luckily I had the internet. I wasn't worried about getting tickets because totally had my friends got my back on that. So I was just like checking out nerd sites and whatnot, and then just watching some dudes run around and hit each other really hard and kind of throw a ball around.
Damn
and
you,
I was
Eli
waiting. I was like,
Manning.
oh, that's right. It says 4 minutes. How many more timeouts can they possibly have?
That
to
was an
extend
eternity
this?
before halftime.
Yeah, it was
felt
literally
like
like
forever.
But you know, I mean, I've watched football before. Basketball is more of my game, so that I'll watch. But you know, I don't hate football. I just, you know, I don't like watching it. I'm the guy who will watch the recap, like, oh, how many people got hit and those people won. All right, cool.
But let me ask you this: do you like beer and wings?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, minus the wings. I just like beer.
Okay.
Lots of beer. Well, you might want to come watch football sometime and just turn away from the screen. But that being said, so breaking the internet, record numbers, and then literally I didn't have a chance to tell you guys this yet. Literally 1 minute before I walked in here on stage, I read a report on Variety that just dropped. And this is what the report in Variety says, okay? Check the validity of this, but this is what Variety is saying right now. That Fandango is reporting that the record holder for most ticket sales in its first day of pre-order tickets being available was the last Hunger Games movie. Not a big surprise. Variety is reporting that last night Star Wars sold, they didn't give a number, but they said this: Star Wars sold 8 times more than the Hunger Games sold on its first day.
Wow.
Let me repeat that. Let this sink in. Variety is reporting that the previous record holder for most pre-sales tickets in one day on Fandango was the latest Hunger Games movie. Makes total sense, doesn't surprise any of us. Star Wars just beat that record by 8 times. 8 times. Not double, not triple, 8 times. Now, they didn't actually give the number and I'm sure we'll get those numbers pretty soon. I'm sure they're still figuring it out. But what Fandango released to Variety was 8 times the previous record.
Yikes.
Wow. It's these numbers that make me go, maybe a 200 plus, opening weekend in December is possible, and thy name is Star Wars.
And also, everyone's going to be like wanting to go see a movie December 18th. It's like, oh, it's time for my vacation. I mean, families. It's like, it's just like that's insane.
I don't remember a movie with this kind of buildup. No, because it coincides with D23, the Star Wars celebration, all these events, and then the toy release. There've been movies with a lot of build-up.
You know what?
The Avengers, even the old the Phantom Menace.
I was going to say the Phantom Menace had that build-up because it was like, oh my God, we didn't think there were going to be any more Star Wars. And then it was like that disappointment issue that happened. With this newer one, which is almost the same amount of time, like 12, 13 years later. Yeah. So no, 17 years later, actually, from 1999. Oh, almost the same exact amount of time as the Star Wars from Return of the Jedi. Anyway, what I'm saying is this has that insane factor of like, it's not all this prequel weird stuff. It's actually, that's Han Solo. We didn't see Luke yet, but Luke's in it. So for people like us who grew up with Star Wars, it means even more. So it's generating and pushing this insane edge. And then when you see a trailer like that, which is just an insanely well put together
They're making all the right moves.
Yeah,
I mean,
everything is-
John kind of nailed it before when I was talking about, like, they just don't, their job is to just not lose us, just not turn us off. And they are stoking those flames.
Totally.
So I am now adjusting my previous prediction for Star Wars. The Force Awakens opening weekend was $165 million. I'm adjusting it. I'm going to go against everything I said before now. Seeing the response that this thing has got, I am now going to go. I never thought I would ever say this number. Star Wars is going to make $250 million opening weekend.
So what you're saying is I was right when
I'm
you made fun of me like a couple months ago?
Enjoy this moment, all right? Bask in this moment, because it won't happen often.
It usually doesn't happen. I have to bask in this.
You were absolutely 100% right. I think this is going to hit 200. I still don't think physically, like even physically, it's possible to hit 300 million, just the number of seats in movie theaters. But I think you're right that between 200 and 300 million, I cannot help, especially this report from Variety. 8 times the previous record. It's insane. All right, folks, we've used up most of the show just talking about Star Wars. Let's move on to the next stuff. It's time of the show for buy or sell. Here's how this works. In front of her ass, she's got a few other items in the world of movie news. She's going to run them down. Then those of us at the table are simply going to say whether we buy it or sell it. So, Ashley, what do we got?
According to a report in Deadline, Fox Studios has entered into negotiations with Doug Liman to direct the upcoming Channing Tatum film Gambit based on the popular X-Men character. Liman has previously directed films such as Mr. and Mrs. Smith, The Edge of Tomorrow, and The Bourne Identity. As some of you may remember, Rise of the Planet of the Apes director Rupert Wyatt was attached to direct the film, but departed the project last month. How would you buy or sell a Gambit movie directed by Doug Liman?
Nothing against Doug Liman as a director. I mean, Edge of Tomorrow is such an underrated film that maybe they should have named it properly or something. But I'm going to sell. And I'll 3 words, or superhero. Superhero is 1 word.
Depends who's writing
Superhero
it.
fatigue. Superhero fatigue. The standalone X-Men movies, there have been 2 of them. One was okay, one was terrible. It was the only X-Men movie with Will.i.am in it, and that one also featured Gambit briefly, which was a bright spot. But man, we have such a full slate. I look forward to these movies as, oh man, there's going to be another Avengers movie, or wow, DC is about to step into the arena with something big. But now I'm like, do we need this movie? Or maybe wait until the slate clears up a little bit. There's such a glut of films. I feel like they are doing the entire genre a disservice, just trying to ride the coattails of this superhero money-making machine right now. So even though I like Liman, not the best Bourne Identity director. If Paul Greengrass was directing it, then I might be that much more excited.
But he did kick off the franchise. Yeah, he directed the first
Liman
one, got
did
the first one. Did a great job with Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Did a great job with Edge of Tomorrow. He's also, he also did Looper, or not Looper, Jumper, I should say. Looper was fantastic.
Yeah.
That guy's
in
directing
Jumper,
episode
actually.
8 right now.
Yes, he is.
Ryan Johnson.
I'm going to buy it. And here's the thing. I still don't accept that the whole superhero fatigue notion right now. Like, I mean, they are 2 different things, apples and oranges. Understanding this is just for comparison's sake. Like, it's in the same sense that, look, I like the TV show Grimm. I like the TV show Grimm. I'm about to watch 22 episodes this year alone of Grimm. I've already watched about 60 episodes of Grimm, but I don't have Grimm fatigue. We watch, Breaking Bad. We watch 12 of those every single year. We watch 12. We didn't get Breaking Bad fatigue. And right now, they're still on a roll. Look, was Age of Ultron as good as the first Avengers? Absolutely not. It wasn't. I thought it was maybe at first, and then I watched a few more times. No, it's not. But I still thought it was good. The last X-Men movie was magnificent. So far, right now, the trend in superhero movies is that they're good. And I think it's a long...
Except for Fantastic Four.
Yeah, you had to go there.
I know, but
you
they're
had to
not
bring
all
out the
gonna be
big
good.
gun there to totally rip apart where I'm going. But yeah, I mean, that's true. But I think until we get a couple of Fantastic Fours in a row...
Oh, God forbid.
Which, I mean, eventually it'll happen, right? Eventually, a law of averages says it has to happen eventually. When it does, then I think we're going to start to feel that. Right now, I feel like everything's on a roll. I used to hate Channing Tatum as an actor a few years back, but full credit where credit's due. I think he's got better and better. Paired with Liman.
He's likable.
I would have preferred to seen Reeves. Not Reeves.
Keller
Planet of the Apes.
Kitsch?
The Planet of the Apes director.
Matt Reeves.
Was it Matt? But who's directed the original? Wyatt something. Anyway.
Oh yeah.
I would have preferred to see him direct it initially, but I think this is a good fit. So I'm going to, surprisingly, I'm going to give it a buy for now.
Yeah, I'm going to buy it. I mean, I think Liman's a strong director, and I wouldn't mind seeing what he has to do or say with the superhero genre. I don't know how much ability he's going to have or flexibility to like add his 2 cents to the whole thing. But I think he's a good choice. I mean, going from his very first film, Swingers. I mean, you look at his filmography, and he's taken a lot of chances. He's done a lot of different kinds of films, so he's jumping into the superhero game.
Yeah, I would say, and don't get me wrong, I am going to see the hell out of it.
No, I get you with the fatigue action.
Yeah, I'm just like, hey, guys, less is more sometimes. Let's.
The reason I agree with you.
The DC and Marvel slates are so huge. We already have X-Men films.
I'm of the mind where, like myself, I would actually rather have more than less, because I remember many years back, you have to wait a couple years to see one hero film, and if it's not good, you still have to wait. So you could go like 2, 6, 8 years without seeing a cool superhero film. This way, yeah, next year there are 7 gigantic films coming out that are all revolving either giant heroes like Captain America, Batman, Superman, Iron Man. Those are the big guns. Then they have medium level like characters that only like video game fans or comic book fans would know about, like Deadpool, who's like, he's risen in fame. Now everyone knows who Deadpool is.
Yeah.
But Gambit is one of those characters who a lot of people don't know yet. I think it could be a big hit.
Tangential question. Yeah. At Comic-Cons, are there more Deadpools or Harley Quinns?
Wow.
I'll go Harley Quinns.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll go Harley Quinns. Because I think with the guys who like to cosplay, there are a lot more popular guys to cosplay as from female cosplayers. Harley Quinn has got to be the most popular one.
Yeah.
Would it not be a Harley Quinn?
I would say that's a great question, because I always see because also Deadpool has so many variations. I'm the maid Deadpool. I'm female Deadpool.
Yeah. What about lady? Do you count lady Deadpools in the Deadpool?
Yes.
Thing.
Ooh.
Oh,
Yeah,
because
you
there's a
got it.
lot
I think
of
you
lady
have
Deadpools
to.
now
Yeah.
too.
And there's not a lot of male Harley Quinns,
Not a
which
ton,
that should
not a ton.
change. Guys,
Hey,
get
don't
dressed.
criticize my Halloween costume.
I didn't want to rip on it. I'm pre-ripping, but Campea's playing Harley Quinn.
All right, what's next?
Next week, are you going to wear that costume next week?
If only if you wear your Joker outfit.
You're
That's
going
a
as
deal.
the Margot
That
Robbie.
is
The
a
Margot
deal.
I will go
Robbie.
as the Margot Robbie Harley Quinn.
I'm holding you to this. I'm so serious.
Hey, I'm going as the traditional Harley Quinn from Paul Dini, the animated series Bruce Timm. That's what I'm dressed.
And
I'm
if
holding
you
you
dressed
all
up
to
as
this.
Joker and Harley Quinn for a Halloween
serious.
episode, that would break the
I was
internet.
going to be
Jared Leto.
Batwoman. I literally was going to be Batwoman, but I will be Jared Leto just to see
But
you
you
in a
gotta
Harley
cut
Quinn
your hair,
outfit.
color it green,
All
slick
right,
it back.
now you're pushing it.
You gotta-
If you
Now
want me in
you're
a
pushing
Margot Robbie outfit,
You
I'm
gotta
gonna
wear
wear
a
a
corset.
outfit.
You got to
That's
get some
right.
silver teeth.
All right, what's next?
Get the grill.
Yes.
According to reports, Lakeshore Entertainment and Screen Gems have begun principal photography on the upcoming Underworld 5 in Prague. The franchise will once again see Kate Beckinsale return as the main character in the series, the death dealer Celine. The previous 4 installments of the Underworld series have grossed nearly $500 million worldwide. The new film is being directed by veteran television director Anna Forrester, who is also reportedly going to be directing a sequel to the 2011 Jake Gyllenhaal film Source Code. John Byers-Sell, Underworld 5.
While I generally have a rule in my life that anything Kate Beckinsale wants, needs, desires, I will buy. However, I cannot do it for Underworld. Look, Underworld is one of those films, you've heard me say it before. I liked the first one, but I didn't love it. But I felt there was so much good mythology there that they set up that it could be a great series, and it just never got there. It always faltered every step of the way. I am actually really curious to see somebody sometime come along and reboot, like totally reboot and reimagine an Underworld series, because I think there's a lot of really cool stuff there you could do. So while it really hurts me to sell anything involving Kate Beckinsale, especially in tight leather, this is one of those situations I have to do it, so I'm going to sell it. What about you, Hal?
Yeah, I feel you on this. I'm like, wait, there's already a 5th one coming out?
Right?
I'm out. This feels just like, a cash grab. It's a familiar franchise. Let's and Kate Beckinsale. I had higher hopes for her. I mean, what has she been in since like Total Recall, which was not great, actually really bad. That was a bastardization. First Total Recall was fun. I just want to talk about Total Recall.
I can
and
always
reboots.
watch that. I watched that again last year, the Arnie one.
Yeah, the Arnie
so
one.
much fun.
It's a joyride. The
Let's
second
go
one
to
was
Mars.
Humorless.
It's amazing.
It was humorless.
And there's the remake. They didn't go to Mars.
Yeah, right.
What's that about?
2 weeks.
That's right.
So yeah, I'm out. I'm out on the Underworld.
I gotta say, I'm in, and it might be. I wrote the animated series that no one's ever seen.
Right.
It's called Endless War, and when I did that, I did all this research into the mythology of Underworld and all the work that the different other writers had put into it, which might not be on screen. So I think that if they are going back and they're bringing Kate back as Selene, I think there's still a chance to redeem themselves and go back to what they were doing with 1 and even 2. So I'm still interested in Underworld. I'd like to see what they're going to do.
I'm
so
in on your
buy it.
animated series.
Check it out. It's called
buying
Endless
that.
War. I think you could check it out on YouTube. So.
Awesome.
All right, what's next?
The first official poster for the upcoming film The Big Short has hit the web. The film stars Christian Bale, Steve Carell, Brad Pitt, and Ryan Gosling. When 4 outsiders saw what the big banks, media, and government refused to, the global collapse of the economy, they had an idea, The Big Short. Their bold investment leads them into the dark underbelly of modern banking, where they must question everyone and everything. Schnepp, buy or sell this first poster for The Big Short?
I'm gonna buy it. It's very it's enticing. I'm glad it's just not a bunch of actors' giant heads. You know, that's very
Just
fun.
their giant names.
Yeah, they're giant names, but it says a lot. You know, it's like, oh, it's everyone's underwater drowning. There's no money in housing. There's a big scam going on. It says it visually, and then you have those big names where you're like, oh my God, what? They're in it too, and him. You know, it's like. It's kind of an all-star cast, and I'm looking forward to an adult film that we can actually watch and learn something about how horrible our situation in home marketing and hiding money and all other kinds of amazing.
But let me
things.
ask you a question: is it too much handsome for one film?
It's
you got
a little
Gosling,
distracting.
You got Pitt, you got Bale.
And I'll go right. I think Steve Carell's a handsome man. I really do. But here's the thing. I'm going to buy the poster for a couple of reasons. Number one, from an artistic point of view, you nailed it. Artistically, this symbolizes the movie perfectly.
Right.
The houses underwater, the money floating. I think it's beautiful the way it does that. Now, normally, I would be complaining about you got 4 actors' names on there, all whose names are as big or bigger than the title of the film itself. However, I'm going to buy it as a move on their part, because when else are we going to see Christian Bale, Steve Carell, Ryan Gosling, Brad Pitt, all in the same freaking movie?
Right.
That is a giant. Now, normally, you know, the actors, the stars in your movie we're no longer living in the age where that is what's going to bring you your box office. But something as novel as these guys in one movie together, I totally get it from a business point of view, but why you do the poster like that, it makes sense. So from an artistic and from a business point of view, I buy it.
You know what? There's too much handsome. Are we watching Magic Mike Double XL? No, I'm kidding.
Too much handsome.
I'm going to buy it. And I'm just looking at the poster right now, and I'm reminded that Adam McKay co-wrote and directed.
That's
I'm
right,
a huge
yes.
fan of Adam McKay.
Yeah.
And I'm very excited to see Adam McKay venture into a little bit more serious territory,
Yeah, me too.
maturing in his career. He did such a great job. He was part of the rewrite team for Ant-Man, and I love his work with Will Ferrell. So I'm excited to see what McKay does, because he's such a bright guy. I've loved him since his work on Saturday Night Live.
He's also incredibly political. Like
You've done some
Yeah.
stuff with McKay
yeah,
before.
he's a
haven't you,
pal
in
of
the
mine
past?
from Chicago. Back, he used to be an Upright Citizen Brigade, so
Yep.
he was an original founding member of that. So I go way back with Adam, and it's always fun to watch friends of yours' careers just flourish.
Yeah.
But he's always had this side, which this movie will finally reveal. It's like he's got a very serious side. He's very concerned
Absolutely.
about the
I
rest
follow
of
him
the
on
world.
Twitter. He's not afraid to mix it up a
Yeah,
little bit.
he mixes it up. So I'm really excited to see, especially since he wrote this and is directing it. This is going to be a big
And I like Carell as a serious actor. I was a big fan of Foxcatcher. I
Yes.
thought his
Yeah.
performance was good. I thought the movie maybe was a little too subtle. I would have loved some moments that popped that
right,
much
but
more.
he's disturbing as hell in that film.
Yes,
Yeah.
he is.
Freaky.
Yeah, no, he's
Creepy.
shown he can do comedy, obviously, which is what we know him. But
Yeah.
he's shown in several films now that he can really carry it
Yeah,
dramatically
man.
as well. So I'm looking forward to seeing what he does next. All right, speaking of next, what's up next?
According to reports, production has begun in the Czech Republic on the new Jessica Chastain film, The Zookeeper's Wife. The film is an adaptation of Diane Ackerman's nonfiction book of the same name, which was based on the diaries of Antonia Zabinski. The time is 1939, the place is Poland, homeland of Antonia Zabinski and her husband, Dr. Jan Zabinski. The Warsaw Zoo flourishes under Jan's stewardship and Antonia's care when their country is invaded by the Nazis. Jan and Antonia are forced to report to the Reich's newly appointed chief zoologist Lutz Heck, played by Daniel Bruhl. The Zabinskis covertly begin working with the resistance and put into action plans to save the lives of hundreds from what has become the Warsaw Ghetto, with Antonia putting herself and her children at great risk. Hal, buy or sell the sounds of the Zookeeper's wife?
Here's the thing. As a Jew, I'm contractually obligated to buy a Holocaust movie. But let me talk.
Why do you think I asked you on the show today?
But a couple of things about it. Jessica Chastain, I like her, but she's never ripped my heart out the way Cate Blanchett or certain actresses have. Like, I feel like she's serviceable in everything she does. So I'm not that excited about her. Also, the name of the movie is a little bit odd to me. We were joking about it a little bit earlier. Is it like the Kevin James sequel?
That's what I thought when I first saw the title.
Yeah, or is it The Astronaut's Wife meets We Bought a Zoo? I don't know. So it's not the most compelling title, and I'm not that excited about Jessica Chastain. But she runs a zoo, but she's trying to save Jews. Here, I want them to abandon the script and the actual story and make a movie about her training zoo animals to fight Nazis.
I got the title for it. It's called The New Jew Review. The New Jew Review coming after you.
The New Jew Zoo Review.
Bam!
Oh,
there we go.
Snap.
Love the addition. That's it.
But,
somebody make a poster.
So I talked all that crap, but once again, I'm a Jew. It's a Holocaust movie. Yeah, I'll buy it. I'll go see it with my mom.
Yeah, I'm with you. The title is a terrible title.
Yeah.
And that might be the name of the book based on the true story. I get it, but it does not work as a movie title. The title's got to go. I hope they change it.
Yeah.
I am actually a big fan of Jessica Chastain. She did rivet me in The Help. I loved her in Zero Dark 30. I just like everything I've seen her in so far, and I really liked her in The Martian too, but that's just me. But the reason I'm going to buy this completely is I love stories about, look, in the midst of the worst that we've ever faced as a human race, whether it's natural disaster tragedy or whether it's human-made tragedy as a result of evil or whatever, you find when you dig into those things the greatest stories of human courage, of human kindness, of human generosity. It's within the most horrible things that you sometimes find the best in humanity. And I love these true stories like this, like these people running a zoo and then risking their own lives, their spouses' lives, their kids' lives to help people facing unimaginable horrors. And because of that, and I love stories like that, I got to give it a buy.
Right. Myself growing up as a Jew, I saw so many Holocaust films and just like the horrible, just people being buried in ditches and stuff that, it affects you as a kid. You're like, wow, that's insane. And then you grow up and you watch it happen in all these other countries all around the world. War is a horrible, horrible thing. And the more you're reminded of it, the more you're always aware of like not letting it happen in other countries like here in America. You have to be aware of your rights as a human citizen, and you don't let yourself being bullied by the government, either federally or, I'm just saying it's like this title, The Zookeeper's Wife, I get it. I'm going to buy Jessica Chastain. You're right. She's no Cate Blanchett, but she's good. She's a good actress. I did like her in Zero Dark 30. I thought she was good in The Martian, but it depends on the material with her. She rises or falls. So I think her getting this role will actually be interesting. I am interested to see how they integrate the zoo family. What do they do? How do they get the people out of the Warsaw Ghetto? It sounds interesting as far as a World War II
and
film.
You both make great points because we need movies like this and a movie like 12 Years a Slave, and Selma, and that tell these important stories of survival and overcoming and so we don't forget them. And younger generations, they don't always read the books. But so having these movies to educate people and tell them about an important chapter in the world that we should never forget.
It's also really easy to forget that it's not that many years ago because time seems so weird and viscous.
It's not.
It's like, oh, that's like 4,000 or 5,000 years ago. No, it's like only your grandpa or your grandma was alive, and maybe their family members died during this.
Yeah.
So.
All right, folks, we reach that part of the show now, since it is Tuesday, to talk about some of the upcoming movies in what's opening this week, brought to you by our friends at AMC Theaters. We got a number of films opening this week. Today, we're going to talk about two of them. On Thursday, we'll talk about two others. But Ashley, what are the two we are talking about today?
First up is Gem and the Holograms. Teenager Jerrica is an extremely shy but talented singer-songwriter whose dreams of stardom come true when she forms the group Gem and the Holograms. Other members include her younger sister Kimber on keyboards, drummer Shayna, and bassist Asia. With help from Rio, the son of the CEO of Starlight Music, the 4 young band members find their own voice while taking the world by storm. Next up is the new Vin Diesel film, The Last Witch Hunter. The modern world holds many secrets, the most astounding being that witches still live among us. Centuries ago, Calder managed to slay the all-powerful Queen Witch, decimating her followers in the process. Before her death, she cursed the valiant warrior with her own immortality, separating him from his beloved wife and daughter in the afterlife. Her resurrection now threatens the survival of the human race as Calder, the only one of his kind remaining, faces her vengeful wrath. John, which of these films are you looking forward to this weekend?
Well, it ain't Gem and the Holograms, I'll tell you that right now. That is honestly, look, obviously I am not the target audience.
I'm shocked.
For Gem and the Holograms. Clearly, that's cool and that's fine. But man, that, especially the first trailer, was one of the most awful, terrible trailers I have ever seen, ever. Like, there are lots of movies that come out that are not meant for me, and that's cool, and they're movies that I wouldn't check out, but you can at least put some effort into making a half-decent trailer. I'm still not going to see it, but the trailer, this was awful. I have absolutely no desire to see this film, so you won't see me there.
I am the target audience for this, in as much as I'm a kid from the 80s.
I thought you were going to go to the Jew thing again.
But listen, I'm always going to play that card as often. But like it lost the spirit of what the cartoon was.
Oh,
like
yeah.
Like the cartoon had some like magic around it, and this just looks like, oh yeah, let's neuter it and just make it like a teeny bopper flick.
Well, I mean,
you know?
I thought initially, okay, look, this sounds ridiculous, but hey, you know, modern time that this girl gets transformed because of this little robot her dad leaves, blah, blah. I was like, wait a minute, it does none of that?
Right.
Yeah.
Like, and I know some hardcore Gem and the Hologram fans, these girls that are friends of my wife, they were ripe, man, when they found out what this movie was not going to be. But I got to tell you this, straight up, I know a lot of people are hating on it. I'm looking forward to The Last Witch Hunter. I really am. First, because I'm a sucker for these types of sci-fi, fantasy, action genre films. I think Vin Diesel is made for movies like this.
Yeah.
And, you know, this dude, and I like the idea, the guy, a curse of immortality because it keeps him separated from his wife. Because normally think cursed with immortality. There are some other stories that go cursed with immortality. It's like, that doesn't sound so bad, but it's actually keeping him from his spouse. I think it sounds, you got Michael Caine in there. You got Spider-Man in there. Wait, is it Tobey Maguire? Who is it in that? Was it Tobey Maguire or is it?
It's Tobey.
It is Tobey Maguire. This there. Okay. And that looks great.
Elijah Wood.
Elijah Wood. I knew it was
Wood.
one of the two of them.
Yeah.
And I love that one scene in the trailer where he's like, "Do you want out? No, I want a raise." I love that line. I think that's great. So out of the two of them, for me, it's going to be The Last Witch Hunter. What about you, Schnepp?
Definitely Gem. No. It's the Witch Hunter, and you know what? With the first trailer with the Witch Hunter, I didn't really dig it. I was like, it feels like more of the same that I've seen a million times. We all know Vin Diesel's a big D&D sweaty, so I was like, second trailer, it sold me. It had those elements of comedy. It had a little bit more, enough of what the movie's going to be about to make me say, you know what, I'm going to see this, and I bet it's better than The Seventh Son. So,
just hoping. What about you, Hal?
It's got to be Witch Hunter all day long. I mean, and I just want to hear Michael Caine say, "I'm not going to bury another witch hunter."
That's right.
But like, here's a question. What happened to the first Witch Hunter? Did I miss out on a bunch of Witch Hunters?
Prequels.
That's prequels right there all day long.
Like you said, Vin Diesel's made for this stuff. Yeah.
All right, folks, we've reached that part of the show now for Mailbag. Listen, if you've got a topic or a question you'd like us to address on the show, you can email us anytime at collidervideo@gmail.com. Just send in your questions. Maybe you'll see it on Movie Talk Monday through Friday. Maybe you'll see it on our Mailbag shows on the weekend, or maybe you won't see it at all because we get a lot of them. But we'll see if we can get to yours. Ashley, what's in the Mailbag today?
Dallas Ludlam writes, "Hey Collider crew, I have been watching for the past 3 years and you are always a part of my day.
Thank you.
Do you think that Rogue One can be a gritty and violent enough war film with a PG-13 rating? Thanks and bring on the Filfade."
Yeah, it's a fair question, but I absolutely think it can be because, look, in today's modern age, you can get away with so much in PG-13. Look, who are we fooling? we're not going. It's a Star Wars movie. We're not going to hear F-bombs being dropped all over the place. We aren't going to hear that at all. Anyway, that's one of the big things about getting an R rating. There's not going to be any sex and nudity in the film, so you don't have to worry about that. But the violence. Here's the thing: you can have a movie where a giant robot, I'm talking about Transformers, takes a giant sword, shoves it through the gut of another robot, drags the sword up until he splits in half and rips his head off. And you can get PG-13. Why? Because it's not a human being. It's a robot. It's fantasy. It's aliens or whatever. But if you notice in all the Star Wars movies, it's lasers. It's not machetes, whatever. It's lasers. So they hit the guy, you go, "Arr!" and you fall down. You put out the Wilhelm scream and the guy falls down or whatever. There's no blood and gore. And I think you can capture a lot of the violence, the grittiness, the rawness of war in a Star Wars movie without having the things in it that would necessitate an R rating. So personally, look, I would be really intrigued if they suddenly came out and said, Star Wars Rogue One's going to be rated R. I'd be intrigued. But I just don't see any reason why it would need to be. I think you can get all the action and that visceral violence as well, especially in the Star Wars universe, without it needing to be R. So I think PG-13 is just fine. I think it'll work. Schnepp?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't Saving Private Ryan. That was PG-13, right?
Oh, I don't know.
I cannot remember.
Because that had one of the most horrifying war sequences I've ever seen, the very beginning. And, I mean, war is not pretty. I mean, Rogue One is all about, the troops on the ground kind of fighting this war. So I don't see the necessity for an R rating at all. I agree with you. I think, Star Wars itself being PG-13, that's enough. And, the level of action and violence that's in a PG-13 is pretty much almost R-rated sometimes. So I don't see it going beyond a PG-13.
What do you think?
Well, here's the thing. I would love a chapter of from the Star Wars universe that's rated R. Didn't they just come out and say Batman? There's going to be an R-rated Batman.
No, it got reported wrong. I mean, someone who's a producer on the project said we got the okay that if it does have to go to an R, we could do that. They didn't say it's rated R. In fact, it will not be rated R. I can almost guarantee you that it'll be rated PG-13. But there's certain scenes that happen in The Killing Joke, the comic book, the graphic novel, that Alan Moore and Brian Bolland did amazingly well, that if they wanted to adapt it and go, even with what's on the page, it could be an R rating because of the psychological damage, less so much the actual visual violence.
And by the way, Saving Private Ryan was indeed rated R.
Oh, wow. Okay.
See, I would love a grittier, darker telling of a chapter from the Star Wars universe, but it's never going to happen. They would never have the balls to do that because they risk alienating a huge swath of their audiences. Yeah. And then if it's too dark and scary, moms are going to be like, oh, we can't take them to the next Star Wars movie.
But Hal, I hear what you're saying. Yeah. I don't think it's necessary in the Star Wars world because I know Lucas was like, I want it for kids, and then as adults, and even JJ is like, look, it's going to be for everyone. I mean, but ultimately, still, kids should be allowed to go enjoy Star Wars, and I would hate to see that happen. Like, oh well, this one you have to wait till you're 17. You see what I'm saying? All these other
it would absolutely be a departure.
It would. I just think science fiction, fantasy, the whole world is open to all of our imaginations.
It's a good point.
R and everything else. But I would like to see Star Wars stay within. Hey, if it has to be PG-13 for action and violence, which it's the second word is wars. It's Star Wars, so I get it. But I would like to see that everyone gets to enjoy it.
Yeah, and remember, once again, with a PG-13 rating, you can do a lot.
Yeah,
with the PG-13 rating, so I think we're going to be just fine there. Well, listen, folks, that'll do it for us for this installment of Collider Movie Talk. Thank you so much for joining us. Listen, don't forget, lots of great films playing out at our friends over at AMC Theaters right now. Head on over to www.amctheaters.com if it's not still crashed from all the Star Wars tickets last night for all of your movie, showtime, and, of course, your ticket information. I want to thank the people sitting at the table with me. First of all, sitting on my left, Mr. Jon Schnepp. Schnepp, where can people find you online?
You guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram, just at Jon Schnepp and at TDOSLWH. You can find all of us. We're going to be at Stan Lee's Kamikaze. That's coming up in a week and a half. Cool. It's October 30th to November 1st. And on November 1st, Sunday, we're having a Collider Movie Talk panel, which is going to be great. We'll all be on there.
What time's that out again?
I think it's at 3 o'clock.
I think it was, you said 3 o'clock.
3 o'clock. Yeah. We're right after the Schmoes No panel, and we're all in the same room. So
that's a nice double feature.
It's going to be a crazy, extra sweaty, super long freak fest. So bring a bunch of questions. It'll be a lot of fun. We're showing our film, The Death of Superman Lives, what happened there. I believe it's on Saturday.
Not at the panel.
Not at the panel. That's separate. But yeah, Stan Lee's Kamikaze is going to be jam-packed. I'll have a booth there. I believe it's booth 239. So come on by and say hi.
And of course, our special guest today from Screen Junkies Movie Fights, Mr. Hal Rudnick. Hal, thanks so much for coming today. Where can people find you online?
You can hit me up on Twitter at Hal Rudnick and check out the Screen Junkies show every Thursday. Just go to YouTube, youtube.com/Screen Junkies. And you guys are super fun dudes to talk to. Thank you all. Ashley, thank you. I mean, you're not a dude. You're a chick.
Why did you
Actually,
send
I'm a
out
dude.
Ashley, not us? Why didn't you say John, thank you?
Are you mad? Are you mad?
I might be, just a little bit. I don't know.
Bros, thanks. Ashley,
Thank you,
are
sir.
a delight.
Thank you.
No, but this was a blast. Thanks for having me, guys.
And of course, our lovely host today, the Joker to my Harley Quinn, Miss Ashley Mova. Ashley, where can people
Still
find you?
holding you to it. You guys can find all the pictures I'm going to post of John in his Harley Quinn outfit on my Twitter and on my Instagram at Ashley Mova. Happy Tuesday, guys.
And hey, guys, don't forget my first book, The Pride, comes out in December. Keep your eyes open for that. And you can follow me on Facebook and on Twitter, simply at Jon Campea. That'll do it for us, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. Thanks to Wendy and Dennis and Ray in the background helping make all this run. And thank you to you guys. Remember, most important thing is not what all of us idiots at this table have to say. It's what you have to say. Jump into the comments section below and leave your thoughts on any or all of the topics we discussed here today. Thanks again, guys. My name is Jon Campea for Collider Movie Talk. And until next time, bye-bye.